We are now streaming live on Facebook. This will be recorded and chopped up into YouTube segments for the audience. Just want to go around the horn here and introduce ourselves. I'll start off. I'm Chris Saxman, Executive Director of Virginia Free. I served 4 terms in the House of 2000 businessmen by hanging up ring, and now moved from Stanton to the western suburbs of Richmond. I'll go to Matt Walton.
I am Matt Walton, the contributor with Bearing Drift, former candidate for the House of Delegates in 2015, Republican nominee for the 74th District, live in Henrico County, and am a teacher by trade.
Andrea?
I'm Andrea Epps, senior contributor for Bearing Drift, mother of 2 wonderful kids and 2 fantastic dogs, and I take care of them and mom and write when I need to write.
Okay, we'll go to Chris Noe next.
Hi, I'm Chris Noe. I am a homeschool mom, which has made me very popular lately. I've been homeschooling for 13 years and involved in local politics for about 20. And I am a writer on Bearing Drift.
Okay, DJ McGuire.
DJ McGuire, senior contributor to Bearing Drift, former Republican nominee for local office in Spotsylvania, but now I call myself the conservative feather of the Democratic Party.
Brian Shaneman.
Hi, everybody. Brian Shaneman. I am the editor-in-chief emeritus of Bearing Drift. I am a former House of Delegates candidate as well, former local candidate in Fairfax County. I was the chief elections administrator in Fairfax for 2 years. I also served in the Bush administration, and I am currently the political and legislative director for the Seafarers Union of North America.
And Merle Russ.
Hi, I'm Merle Russ. I'm senior contributor with Bearing Drift, where I focus on national security and defense issues. I'm a 25-year veteran of the United States Army, also a veteran of the defense industry. Now I'm a small businessman and a wine grower in Loudoun County.
All right. That's us, Dr. Cameron Webb, the candidate. Look at that smile. He's got that candidate's glow, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He does. He's got.
He knows what he's doing. He's got it.
They
It's
all
not the
have
candidate's glow.
No,
It's,
not all. Not
it's
all.
the ring light. It's
You
That's
want
what
one
I'm
of those
talking
things.
about.
That's what
There
I
you go.
need. I need one of those.
He's got that
Professional.
Christmas morning, every day look about him, doesn't he? It does.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Webb, go and introduce yourself. Give us a little bio, and we'll start asking some questions. Thanks.
Will do, but before I jump in, DJ McGuire, you said you're a Spotsy guy. I'm from Spotsy. Grew up right off of Route 3 in Catharpin, so just down the road from Orange County. But where are you in the county?
Well, I was all the way on the other end of the county, down by where Tidewater Trail almost hits the Caroline County line. I'm down on Hampton Roads now, but I was up there for about 10 years.
Gotcha. Well, nice to meet you all. It's really my pleasure. My name's Cameron Webb, as you said. I'm an internal medicine doctor at the University of Virginia, also a lawyer, so I'm obviously a glutton for punishment. I went to the 25th grade for the teachers out there. And so, you know, for me, list, which means that these last 4 months, I've been working on the COVID unit, taking care of coronavirus patients as well. And I'm also the director of health policy and equity at the UVA School of Medicine, which is a role that I really love. I love working with students and teaching them about our incredibly broken and fractured healthcare system and ways that we can improve it. And part of my insight into that came from working in the White House. I worked from 2016, 2017 in the White House as a White House fellow. First 6 months on the White House healthcare team for President Obama, last 6 months on the Domestic Policy Council healthcare team for President Trump. Really, you know, bridging those 2 very different administrations, I learned a ton about where we have some commonalities in this conversation and where we can really move forward thoughtfully. And so that's a big part of what I bring with me into this space. A lot of people ask me, you know, you got a perfectly reasonable life. Why would you ruin it by going into politics? And I think that for me, so much of it has to do with just this notion of service. I'm in the service professions, haven't for a while, but I just recognize we've got a healthcare system that's, you know, a fifth of our economy, and it's not working efficiently. And I think that there are a lot of things that we can do to ensure access, but also to unlock the potential of what our system can and should be. And so I'm excited to have those conversations, to have them in a thoughtful way, and bring my experience to bear in all of that. And then, you know, of course, a global health pandemic just came and sat down in the middle of my campaign. And so we've got that dynamic too, and I want to be helpful in that response. And so I'm just excited to be with you all today and get into the whitewater with you.
But it's great to have you on board, and thank you to you and your team for helping helping us get this coordinated. Been working on it for a couple of weeks. Obviously, your background is substantive, impressive. It's not often you see a double professional degree candidate in running for office these days. I guess, I mean, the only question that comes up anytime you talk to a candidate is, why are you running for this office? And I'll put that to you.
For me, like I said, I see patients every day. That's kind of what I do in my day job. I'm also teaching about our healthcare system. And it just got harder and harder to explain to my patients, well, it's just the way that it is because the system doesn't work very well. And harder to justify to my students, well, it's just the way that it is and our system doesn't work very well. And then in the middle of all that, we have this Texas versus United States case. And that was actually the tipping point for me. It was the Texas versus US case that, Judge Reed O'Connor down in Texas said would strike down the entire Affordable Care Act. And like it, love it, or hate it, the Affordable Care Act as the law of the land has stood the test of 70 plus different attempts to repeal it. And I think that the reality is that just eliminating the ACA without putting something better and more thoughtful in place, to me, I said, is just a never event for us. We have to be ready to move forward with our healthcare system in a way that ensures that people have access to the care that they need. The stakes are too high for my patients. So that's really what did it for me. That's what got me into this conversation and got me into this idea of, well, maybe this is a time for me to step in and run a campaign really focused on saying we can fix our healthcare system. We can lean into the best things about our system and also make sure that everybody has access to it. And that's what I aim to do. So that's what did it for me.
So it's healthcare centric. That's a great focus. Let's do a little. I'm going to pull back a little bit here. What I do when I interview candidates for the first time is do a little rapid fire, more personal stuff. Don't get too excited about these things. Like, what's your favorite book or most recently read book?
Oh man, so the book that I'm reading right now is called Fair Market. It's called Free Market Fairness, and I think it's just kind of existing at that intersection between our free market and really unlocking the potential of a free market that's also moving us toward a more, society that's more equitable in terms of opportunities for success. How we can leverage the market to achieve that. So that's what I'm currently reading. I'm a nerd. I like getting into the philosophy kind of stuff, but that's what's on my bookshelf right now.
Favorite movie or most recently watched movie that you would recommend to a friend or loved one?
Oh man, favorite movie. Let's see. Oh, that's a tough one. I watch pretty trash TV, man. I think that
who doesn't? So you watch cable news, do you?
Well, I'll say this is kind of a hedge because TV shows are more like movies now. I just rewatched Game of Thrones for the second time.
Awesome.
That's kind of how I've been spending my free time, and so there's that. Right now, I'm watching this show Snowpiercer that's on TNT. Also really good. Check it out. Okay,
my son got me started watching Snowpiercer, but here's the book I want to recommend if you're in that lane of philosophy. It's Ethics in the National Economy by an Austrian priest, Father Heinrich Pesch. It's right along the theme of what you're talking about, as far as taking a free market approach and doing what you should be doing or ought to be doing to make our society more equitable. It's an outstanding book.
Awesome.
Okay, favorite sports teams?
The Washington football franchise has been my favorite sports team since I was a kid. I was 8 and they won the Super Bowl. I thought they were just God's gift to sports. And then I've been suffering with the rest of the Washington fans since then. For one, I'm glad they're changing the name. It's just an unnecessary distraction. Now we can move forward. And plus, Dan Snyder's done everything wrong for the last, I don't know how many years. So might as well start getting something right.
All right. Is it baseball, basketball, any other pro teams you follow, or college teams in particular?
Yeah, in college, I've always been a North Carolina Tar Heels fan, which is ironic because I'm a UVA guy. But again, I think I was really shaped by sports in the early '90s, and so there was the teams with Vince Carter and Anton Jameson and Eric Montross. I was enamored. So I'm a Tar Heels fan. Can't help it. And college sports are my preference. I love pro basketball, but I think there's nothing like March Madness. I mean, those kids leave it all out on the floor, and I love watching it. So I was sad to miss it this year. And plus, you
dropped you there.
Another year, so I'll take it.
Okay, well, you struck out on all of those. You didn't do well at all. I'm just going to be upfront with you.
Oh, come on.
It's just kind of a disturbing answer. I go to UVA, but I cheer for UNC. I mean, that's. Maybe you're the perfect Democrat.
Chris, at least he didn't say he roots for Virginia Tech, so he got at least that part of it okay.
Hey now,
Watch out now.
Look, he might be.
my wife's from Appomattox, and every time we talk about UVA and Appomattox, they're like, we're Tech fans around here. So that's one thing. And listen, I was a UNC fan before I was a UVA alum, and so I'm loyal. That's all it is. So you got to stick.
You're killing me, Doc.
Look,
You're killing me, Dr. Webb, as a NC State alumni.
Oh, you are not, DJ.
All right, you could be the perfect Democrat to go to Congress for all these Republicans on here, because, you know, if you're going to be that loyal to the Democrats, I'm just saying, you know.
Well, listen.
Working in the Trump White House, just saying.
Listen, what I know is that's sports loyalty. That's an important thing. I think the loyalty I'm talking about here is to the people of this district, and I think you got to recognize this district spans a lot of different perspectives.
Yes, it does. It's a very diverse district. Now let's just follow up here briefly on sports, because it is so topical. It's not like the Redskins, the former team known as the Redskins, are not in the news. Do you have a particular name that you prefer that have been mentioned so far?
I like Senators. Actually, Carter and I were talking about this yesterday because he's also a big Washington fan, and I like the idea of the Senators. I like what they did with the branding with the Washington Nationals. It is a big part of that DC identity. Washington Capitals, you know, there's a lot of enthusiasm behind that team. So stick with what's working. I hate what they did with the Washington Wizards. That just never worked for me. So pick a name that has something to do with the character of the area.